Learning how to fall properly can be one of the most important yet overlooked skills when it comes to learning new flips, tricks, parkour, gymnastics, movement, etc. In this video, I'm going to share with you some of the most important techniques and concepts to falling to minimize impact and injury. Learning the concepts in this video will further unlock the ability for you to teach yourself new skills on your own terms anywhere. You will have more confidence, less fear, and even some new skills by the end of this video. So pay attention, this is very important. But you gotta focus. Now the upper body will be heavily involved in these techniques when it comes to falling. That's why I recommend at a bare minimum warming up the shoulders, but ideally the wrists, the arms, the chest, the back, the entire body. Now having good shoulder mobility is going to be extremely crucial when it comes to learning some of these movements and breaking our fall from all planes. To check yourself before you wreck yourself, I recommend having at least enough shoulder mobility to the point where you can back up against a wall and move your hands all the way up the wall, touching your hands above your head, and then back down without removing your back from the wall and with no impingement. Now if you don't have good shoulder mobility or decent full body flexibility, I have plenty of videos on flexibility and developing that. I recommend checking that out. Otherwise, let's continue with these falling exercises. Now the first technique we are going to learn is falling backwards from the sideways position. Now we can learn this technique standing up with a wall at first. So standing sideways about arm's length from the wall, pick a side and place that hand towards the wall. Now just as I'm demonstrating in this video, we are going to drop down towards the wall and we are going to work on making a curved, smooth motion with our arm, elbow, and then upper back, rolling onto the wall. Always keep a slight bend in the arm. Don't lock out your arm. Also, don't slam anything. Don't slam your elbow. Don't slam your hand. Work on making it a continuous curved motion, not a linear hard impact motion. Now with that being said, all of these techniques are actually going to involve us using a curved motion, not an impacting linear hard motion. That should make sense. As you get more comfortable and smooth rolling from the side to the back, using your arm to guide this roll, you can speed it up and start to walk into it. Continue to work on the fluidity of the movement. Stay curved, stay like a ball, stay tight. Do not flail. Practice it to the point where it's second nature and comes to you naturally. When you get confident with the wall, we can then start to apply this technique on the ground and you'll really begin to see the importance. So getting on the ground in all fours, you then want to take the arm on the side in which you wish to practice, place it on the ground, and you want to roll onto the ground just as you did onto the wall. Move the arm from the hand to the elbow, quickly move it through to the upper shoulder, to the back, roll. It should be a smooth curved motion. Now if this is feeling a little too impactful to practice, you can choose to practice this on a mattress, on your bed. It's as simple as that. So we can practice this falling motion on the mattress, just like we did on the wall, just like we could on the ground. Guide your motion smoothly from hand, arm, upper back, roll, and follow through with the momentum. As you have been learning this, a key concept to unveil itself to you will be continuing your momentum. If at any point during a fall you decide to stop your momentum, all of the force from that fall will be apparent and hurt. So a very important concept is if you find a way to follow through with the fall, to continue your momentum, it will minimize impact and reduce injury. And that's exactly what we're doing as we're learning this move. Now a secret to help continue your momentum and minimize that abrupt impact is using your legs to absorb some of it like a spring. So if your legs are out, as you're falling in, you want to bring your legs in slightly to help absorb some of that shock. But don't knee yourself in the face. Common sense, people. Now continuing, as you're building confidence, you can start to jump into this fall. I recommend doing it on the mattress at first, even if you're feeling confident on the ground. That way you can just build up slowly and take your time. Now you can jump more and more using your arm to guide you in the curved motion and trying to continue your momentum into the fall so that you minimize the impact. Practice this, make it smooth. Now I have a whole video on momentum control and how important it is when it comes to learning flips, tricks, etc. If you want to dive further into that, check out that video. Otherwise, work on this technique right now when it comes to learning this fall. Get it down to where you're comfortable and confident. Take your time, but when ready, let's move on to the next exercise. Now we are going to learn a simple fall towards the front, specifically over the front. So this exercise is going to be basically a dive roll. A dive roll is a simple yet very important move that can help you minimize a fall, minimize impact. It can be learned basically anywhere. So to begin, we're going to start low and slow with a simple roll. We're going to apply that same curved technique from the first exercise throughout this movement. Now for a roll, to make it as smooth as possible, you don't necessarily want to go straight over the front. You want to pick a shoulder and you want to roll from that shoulder to the opposite hip, a diagonal line through the back. Now when you roll, you want to place the hand on the side of the shoulder you're rolling into out first. Placing that hand down, breaking the motion by bending your arm, and then rolling to the shoulder smoothly. Work on making this fluid. Remember the key concept of keeping things curved and continuing your momentum through as you roll so that you don't stop at any point in your roll. You want to continue the momentum through, minimizing impact. Now from the low and slow position, as you get confident, begin to stand up more and more. Practice at your own pace. You want to get to the point where you can stand and jump into this roll. For purposes of this exercise, it doesn't have to be a pretty flailed dive roll. It can be as simple as standing and jumping into the roll. All that matters is you get that second nature coordination so that if you do fall forward, you can be confident that your body will react and you will roll out of the fall properly, smoothly, minimizing impact and injury. Practice makes perfect, so practice this technique. Make it as smooth as possible. Dive it into your muscle memory. It's very important. We learned falling to the back. We learned falling towards and over the front. Now let's learn the most desired, falling over the back. A technique that can be applied to learning movements going backwards, such as the back flip, back handspring, etc. So breaking it down pillar by pillar, the first thing I recommend getting used to is your arm's reaction time and your arm's reaction in general. Now, if you've practiced the first two steps, this will come extremely easy. In fact, you probably already have it down, but I'm going to explain it for you anyways. So just as before, but extremely apparent for going over backwards, you always want to be ready with your arms. You always want to be ready, first of all, by having the proper shoulder mobility so that you can go through a solid range of motion, preventing yourself from falling catastrophically while going over backwards. Also, you never want to lock out your elbows fully. You always want to keep a slight bend in the elbows so you're always ready to catch and absorb any impact like a spring. Now, having good upper body strength and speed is important when it comes to this concept. If you're interested in developing upper body strength, speed, mobility, flexibility, you can check out my 1-month plan on onlykindsfitness.com. It's a 1-month fitness program that can get you from beginner to extremely good shape, good reaction time all around, speed, mobility, strength, all in home exercises that can be done in home or anywhere. Otherwise, if you're feeling confident with your upper body speed, strength, and mobility, then continue to pay attention. Something else extremely important when it comes to preventing injury while going over backwards is the fingers. Now this should be applied to all exercises when it comes to falling. However, this is extremely important for going over backwards. You never want to approach any fall or any move for that matter where your fingers are headed straight towards the ground. So when it comes to going over backwards, don't throw your fingers over your head, straight over your head. You want to curve them in, turn them in towards the inside so that when they do touch the ground, you cup the ground smoothly, which once again takes us back to that curved concept we talked about many times in this video already. Now let's start learning the going over backwards falling technique. First thing we're going to really get down, which is extremely important, is working on the arm motion. Now if you've worked on the first 2 steps already, this will come super fast. So we can start up against a wall. Place your arm on the wall. Now instead of falling to the back, we're actually going to roll forwards. Keeping your arm tight, you want to bend your arm in, think about a curved motion, but we're going to go forwards, using your arm to help guide and absorb some of the impact. Building upon this, stand with your back towards the wall and then turn sideways towards the wall, placing your hand on the wall, bending to your forearm as you touch the wall. Make it smooth. Don't jam your elbow ever into the wall. Think about guiding the motion smoothly. Once confident with this, we can take it to our going over backwards technique. Now just as you choose a side to go over the front with, you can start by choosing a side to go over the back with. And because falls are unpredictable, I do recommend practicing both sides eventually. But let's just start with one side, because you have to. So I'm going to be jumping backwards over my left shoulder. However, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get low. We're going to get down, we're going to get low. From this position, we can think about how it will be if we went over backwards. Okay, you can kind of exaggerate it with your body, with your arms, without even going over backwards like I'm doing in this video. On the side that we're jumping over, we can take that arm and we can use it to go up and around and then down in the back. This is why good shoulder mobility is extremely important. Also notice how my fingers started facing inward in the front, went up, down, around, and then are facing inward in the back. Taking that key concept of keeping the fingers curved and not jamming the fingers into the ground at any point. Scoop the ground with your hands, don't jam your fingers into the ground straight. Now for the falling portion. Taking that arm on the side we are jumping over, you're going to want to have a slight bend in the elbow, as mentioned before. When that arm is placed on the ground, you want to use it like a spring to absorb the impact, just like we practiced on the wall. Stay tight and stay ready. As that arm touches the ground, you can bend it, slowing your impact, slowing your fall. You can practice this motion just around to the side at first, going over backwards. When you get more comfortable with it, you can start to jump more and more backwards over the shoulder, making the flip or the motion more inverted. Now the other hand will be used as a guide to help you follow through this motion and continue your momentum around. Practice, practice, practice. Just like I said before, make this second nature. Build this into your muscle memory. Always remember that curved concept. Think about curving, how you can curve into a fall to reduce the impact, and how you can continue your momentum to reduce the impact as well. Now this concept of catching with your hand and allowing your arm to bend, reducing your fall, can be also used going over the side as well. For example, if you want to learn a side flip or a spinning move such as the B-twist and cork, this reaction of the arm can help break your fall and reduce impact and injury. So say you're not planning on learning to go over backwards at all. Well, you should still practice this technique with the arm because it's useful for learning other tricks such as the side flip, B-twist, cork, etc. Also other b-boy moves if you're into breakdance, gymnastics, parkour, all types of scenarios. Notice how during this side flip I am feeling I'm not going to quite make it over, so I put my arm out, I absorb the impact, I allow it to reduce my fall, and then I can get up and train again. So even if you're not planning on going over backwards, I at least recommend practicing this technique with a wall and embedding it into your muscle memory so that you can pull it out second nature when the scenario calls. Always be ready and always stay focused. Now remember, falls are unpredictable. You're not always going to be able to predict a fall. However, learning these moves, embedding them into your muscle memory can be super beneficial when it comes to preventing injury, longevity, and learning new tricks wherever you are, whenever you want. So remember, always practice safely and always practice at your own risk. Take your time, go at your own pace. I hope this video helps you all out, enlightens you, and gives you new confidence so that you can continue and enhance your movement journey. Thank you all so much for watching this video and so much for your positive support and feedback. I have more videos coming out, so stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe, turn those notifications on. Peace. I will see you all in the next video.